Okay, so last week we focused on the sine rule. Okay, so last week we focused on the sine rule. Okay, so that was A over sine A equals B over sine B equals D over sine C. Okay, now this rule we only use on non-right angle triangles. Okay, so any sort of triangle with a that doesn't have a right angle. Okay, and the small letters were the sides. Okay, and that was the lengths of them. And the capital letters were a placement for the angles. We went through the lettering. It was really important for the basis of understanding those letters, as much as it didn't matter which side you chose to be letter A, which side you chose to be B and C, they had to link up with the corresponding angle. All right, and that's a really, really important part. Okay, so if that is angle A, side A would be opposite that. Okay, that was angle B, side B is opposite. That's angle C, side C is opposite. Okay, so labeling the triangle is really, really important as we go through this. Okay, and it doesn't get any less important as we go into the cosine rule. So I finished last week doing an example of the cosine rule, but that was really just to allow you to start doing the tutorials. Okay, so I put it up on the board and did one question using cosine rule. This is given to you in two ways. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. Okay, or it's rearranged. Okay, so this is the exact same formula, but it's rearranged for determining what the angle is. Okay, so cos A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2BC. Okay, and the same labeling applies. Okay, so the same labeling applies. So if I've got an angle A, my side A is opposite that. Now that becomes more important, or not really more important, but that's as important as in the cosine rule. Okay, for the simple fact that when we're using the cosine rule, we need to realise that that angle A and that side A has to link. That angle A and that side A has to link up. Okay, that has to be opposite that. Okay, and then B and C are just the other two sides. Now it's important because you have to pick the correct one, and it's sometimes not obvious, or as we'll look on later tonight, you'll sometimes have to use more than one of these formulas. Okay, so you might have to fill in a wee bit of detail to allow you to then find the final answer. All right, so it's not always immediately obvious what you need to do. Okay, so cosine rule, cosine rule. Calculate the side. All right, so we've got an angle. Okay, we've got two sides, and we're wanting to find missing side x. Okay, so find x. That's as simple as that question needs to be. Okay, now we're going to use a cosine rule for that. Now the cosine rule to find a side is going to be your a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. Okay, so Pythagoras, but need to take into account minus 2bc cos a. Now it's on us, the triangle won't be labelled with the angles in the sides. Okay, so you need to label it up. Now if you place that as angle A, side A is opposite that. Alright, and then it doesn't matter which way you label the other ones, B and C. So you've got enough information to find side A. Okay. You can just go through. If you write that out in your paper, do you have B? Yep. We have C, yes. B, C, and we've got the angle. We've got everything there. Okay, so even on your formula sheet, okay, I wouldn't advise scribbling on your formula sheet because you might need another formula later on. Okay, but writing it out and ticking it off. Okay, seeing what you need to use. Substitute in all your details, so a squared equals b squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 3 times 6 times cos of the angle, which is 55. Okay. Put that in your calculator. B squared plus 6 squared. Make sure you're comfortable putting this in your calculator. Okay, I'm getting 24.4. Okay, remember, that's not the final answer. There's this wee square that we need to deal with. Taking that across. And whatever units, so it's millimeters in this case. Okay. I'll let you try them in a minute. I'll just do one where we're finding the angle. Okay, so again, you won't get told what you will to use. Okay. However, if we want to calculate the angle, uh, right? We've got three sides. Okay, so again, if you're asked to find the angle, write down your formulas. Okay, you know cos A allows you to find an angle. Okay, so you don't need to rearrange anything. Cos A allows you to find that angle. B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2BC. Now it's just a case of labelling it up. Okay, now it's a case of being able to label it up correctly. Now, if you're wanting to find angle A, first thing you want to label is angle A. Okay, so that angle in there is going to be your angle A. Now, what side is that going to be linked to? It's going to be linked to the opposite side. So that, really critically, is your side A. Okay, so now we know what we're trying to find, and we've got that. Okay, now the other two sides, we just label B and C. Now it doesn't matter what order it is. Okay, B and C, it doesn't matter because we're not having to link that to any angle. And it's just a case of substituting that in. Leave the cos there. 5 squared plus 5 squared minus 3 squared all over 2 times 5 times 5. Again, get comfortable using your calculator. Okay, that's not the final answer. The final answer, you're looking to isolate the letter to find that value. Okay, we're taking cos to the other side. Okay, we write it like that, cos to the -1. That's because, remembering back to last Thursday, that cos over on the left-hand side is cos multiplied by the term A. Okay, whatever value, whatever number is in A. Now, when we're taking it across, it becomes a divide. Okay, but we don't write it 0.82 divided by cos. Okay, for whatever reason, it is mathematically correct, but we don't write it like that. Instead of writing it like that, we write it cos to the -1 times 0.82. Okay, but that's what it's meaning. Okay, so you are taking a multiple on the left-hand side, moving that across to the right-hand side. It is becoming a divide, but the way we write it is just cos to the -1. Okay, so just finishing that off, putting that in your calculator. That angle, check cos, let's see, going to be 34.9 degrees. Okay, so it's labeled X, so X is 9 degrees. Okay, just finding out, looking for what angle you're going to, how to label up those triangles. Is it lagging or is it lagging?
Why is it even this as a top there?
I don't say that.
No. What's the last one? So what was all of it on? The thing you done with the difference?
Pythagoras. Angles? The angles always comes up.
No.
I'm recording this one. Okay, so working through the questions in the booklet, page 11. Okay, page 11, question 3 and question 4. Now what we're looking at is a couple of things we need to apply. So we've got obviously two triangles here. Alright, so there's a wee bit of understanding that we're going to have to do multiple different things. Okay, so in question 3, what it's looking for you to do is calculate the length of BD. Okay, and after that, calculate the length of AD. Okay, now first thing we need to identify is what is length BD. Okay, so you've got the letters in each of the corners, A, B, C, and D. And if you like, that's just a path. So they are miles, or they are wee points in those triangles. Okay, so they are indicating the angles that we're trying to find. Okay, B to D is just literally connecting B to D. So it's that length I've highlighted in red there. All right, now there's 2 triangles involved in this. Okay, so we're looking for a triangle where we've got probably the more information. All right, in this regard, we've got a triangle C. All right, BCD. So we've got the triangle made up of the quadrants B, C, and D. Okay, and in BCD we've got an angle. Okay, so as part of that we've got angle BCD, which can be written as angle BCD. And remember, the letter in the middle is the point of the angle. Okay, so it starts at B, it goes to C, and then it goes to D. So the C part, that 55, okay, is what that angle is. Okay, we've got side BC, is 14, and we've got side DC or CD, whatever you want to call it, which is 11. All right, and it's a non-right angle. You don't have to write that all in the exam. Okay, I'm just writing just to identify the different things that we've got. Now we've got 2 rules. Okay, we're trying to find a side, so we can either use the sine rule or the cos rule. What do you think we'd use? So to find a missing side, yeah, why?
So somewhat long, feels like she.
Oh, well, yeah, for example.
Oh,
Right, that's cool. Okay, so what have we got? Well, we're trying to find BD, that's an unknown. And that unknown is opposite our given angle.
Because it's not the angle then,
So it's not right angle, so we're using either of them because it's not right angle. All right, so we've got one angle and we're trying to find the opposite side. Okay, but if we're going to use the sine rule, then we need one of the other angles as well. Okay, so we don't have 2 angles, so we can't use the sine rule. Okay, there's not enough information on that specific triangle to use the sine rule, so it has to be the cos rule that we use. All right, does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay, so putting the information, okay, and the missing side is BD. All right, so I'm going to use those letters. BD squared is equal to CD squared plus BC squared minus 2, and I'll put it in brackets, CD BC cos of angle BCD. Alright, I probably wouldn't write that out in the exam, but I'm writing those letters in just to show you where they are, so you can link it back. Okay, so I wouldn't do that in the exam, but that's just so you can, in your notes, link that back to that triangle. Alright, so putting that into, or putting the numbers in, CD is 11, plus BC, which is 14, minus 2 times 11 times 14 times cos of 55. Alright, now remember, the angle we're using is the angle that's opposite the side that we're trying to find. The angle we're using is opposite the side we're trying to find. Okay. Length BD, once we're putting that in our calculator, will be root of 140.3, so BD equal to 11.85, whatever that's in. What's it in? Nothing, no units. Alright, so centimeters, milliliters. Oh. Okay, so that's part A. Alright, so that's part A.
So is that, see that line coming down, and is that what that is then?
Yep, that line coming down is B to D. Okay, so now we've filled in a sort of unknown, not a sort of unknown, what was an unknown. Alright, so we've found that to be 11.85. Okay, and now we've got a side, DD. We've got two angles. Okay, and what's part B asking us? Part B is asking us to find AD. AD is the distance from point A to point D. Alright, so that I've highlighted in green. So now we're moving on to another triangle, and we need to use one of these rules again, because it's not a right angle triangle. This time, we've got an angle across from the side that we're missing, and we've also got an angle a known angle across from a known side. Yeah, just so it's on the same screen, I'm just going to do part B over here. Okay. So two angles, one side and one missing side, means I can go A over sine A, goes B over sine B. Okay. If I label my A, well, I've got a point A, so let's just do that. Point A and side A, so 11.85 would be my side A, and the angle opposite that is 50, all right, that's given to us. Side B we don't have, all right, but we've got an angle across from it, all right, so we're looking for side AD, the angle across from it is 32. We're rearranging to find AD, so that's sine 32, all of it comes across. Now it's on the bottom of the fraction on the right hand side, When we bring that across, it goes to the top of the fraction. And that goes on your calculator. Okay.
Because that says it's 11.85 over.
11.85 over sine 50. Okay, so it's the side and then the sine of the angle that's opposite that side. And then the side and the sine of the angle opposite that side. All right. $7.9. It might be a rounding thing. So if you've, I put that in the calculator all as one. Whereas if you've done it, if you've broken it down differently, you might get it different. So 8.19. 8.19 rounds up to 8.2. So depending on how many decimal places you got, you need.
8.197.
Yeah. $7.8942. What? Okay.
So you would know what to do that when around it because you know to do that when you keep around it basically.
So
It's quite like when you need to kind of work out all different bits to work out over one.
aye. Yeah. So that's probably as close to an exam type question.
Okay.
So that you will have to use sine, you have to use cos. Calculate AC length, calculate angle EAC, calculate angle ACD, calculate length. I'll give you a few minutes just to look at that and just start to break it down. Okay, have a wee bash at it. Okay, and then we'll go through it. We'll go through it together. I'll come back on at 12 minutes past. Okay, so write out both rules, start ticking off what you've got. It becomes obvious what you're going to use. So for part A, calculate AC, we're going to use the cos rule, B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. Start putting in your letters, 4 squared plus 5 squared, it doesn't matter what way round they go. Minus 2 times 4 times 5 times cos of the angle, which is 95 degrees. Okay, A is going to be root of, sticking that in your calculator. Four squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 4 times 5 cos 95. So I'm getting root of 44.4 6.49. The root of that answer. 6.67. Okay, so I got units, centimeters. Okay, nice one. We put that in 6.67. So we better more information for us. Okay, look at the next one. Calculate angle BAC. BAC. So we're still working in the top triangle. Okay, we're still working up in the top triangle. We start at B, we go to A, and we go to C. Now the angle that makes is the one you're missing. Okay, the one they're trying to find. So BAC, angle BAC, the letters give you the journey. Okay, you start, you go to the point, and then you go to a finish. So the A angle is what we're looking for, calculate. Okay, so we're looking to find an angle. We've got all our sides. We've got one other angle. Okay, so we are going to use the sine rule. We're going to use the sine rule. Okay. So I'll write it out fully. A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Now, it doesn't matter what you start with, as in what you label side A. Okay, you can label the 4 side A, the 5 side A, or the 6.67 side A. Okay, now we're going to want to find an angle. Okay. So, BAC, I'm going to have in this position here. Okay. Now we've got an angle 95. Okay. So I'm going to have that as my angle A. Okay. So my side A will be my 6.67. So if I say that is angle A, and my sine, and that is side A. Okay, I'm going to put them in. So as long as the side is the opposite of the angle, you can name it in here. B is going to be opposite the missing angle. Okay, so in this case it's going to be 5, and we're missing sine of the missing angle. Let's call it X. Okay, does that make sense so far? And we only need to use 2 parts, so we don't need to use that third part. Now we need to rearrange it. So we're trying to isolate the X part. That's what we're trying to establish. We're trying to find a number that goes in that X position. So we need to rearrange all this to allow us to do that. So that sine X has to come across. Now it's on the bottom on the right hand side, so it goes to the top on the left hand side. Okay. Going to move the bottom of the left hand side over to the right hand side. Okay, and it becomes a multiple. We're gonna move the 6.67 over to the right hand side. Leave sin x. I'm gonna get an answer for that. Okay, I'm just gonna put that on my calculator so I can just tidy up my formula a wee bit. 5 sin 95 over 6.67. Okay, and I'm getting 0.75. So my x, when I bring the sign over, will be sin to the -1. 0.75. Give that angle as 48.3. That's in degrees. Who did you get 4? Who did you get 4?
See if it was in like ABC, the 3 parts, that's not quite a lot of marks in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you start a new part, all right, so calculate AC, start it and work with that triangle and use your lettering there. Once you go to B, start the lettering again so it works for you. So your A's and your B's might have to change. So between part A of that question and part B of that question, my A's and my A did turn out to be the same. All right, but I had to change what B signified. All right, so it doesn't always have to be the same. Does that make sense? Pick the word G for done cos A. I picked the wrong formula. Wrong, sorry. Oh, you corrected yourself. Sorry. Picked the wrong formula. Yeah, can you use the cos A one now? Let's have a wee look. So your unknown angle, across from it would be 5. All right, so your unknown angle, you have 4 squared plus 6.67. Yep, you've got enough information. So you can use cos A as well. And you should get the same answer. So you can use both. Okay, so you've got enough information to use both. So 4 squared plus 6.67 squared minus 5 squared divided by 2 times 4 times 6.67. And then it's slightly different also for simple practices. It's a rounding thing. 6.67. Alright, should get the same answer.
So we can calculate it.
There's a past paper question that you won't be asked to solve cos something, but that will throw you. I'll show you
We can mark it out for this
that.
at some point.
So you can do it either way, okay? So every time you approach a triangle, approach it completely fresh. All right, so my A's and my B's and my C's and my part A. I don't know why I labelled that C. Okay, so part B, you can do it either way. You get the same answer, 48.3. I'll let you digest that a little. I'll let you try ACD. All right, part C of that. I'll let you try and work out ACD, and I'll let you try and work out AD. Okay, give yourself a wee 5-minute break as well in there, 10-minute break, whatever. All right, we'll come back together at 1:45. Okay, so have a week. All right, so hopefully some of you have had a bash at this. I'm going to rock this stuff off the board, okay? So if you've not got it, well, this has been recorded anyway, okay? In fact, I need this. What did I just find out? It's 48.3. What's that in here? So that is 48.3. Okay, in case I need that. So, remember what I said, every time you move on to find out another unknown, start again in regards to what you've got. Okay, now in the exam, you're going to maximum do this twice. Okay, so we're doing it 4 times here just to build that understanding, but in the exam, will be maximum twice. Okay, so calculate ACD. Now, first thing you need to figure out is A, what triangle was it talking about? And then what angle within that triangle was it talking about? Okay. I'll work this stuff out. So my A's and my B's and my C's all start afresh. Okay, so angle ACD. A is where I'm starting. C is my next point. And D is where I'm finishing. Okay, that is creating this angle in here. Again, we can call that X if we want. Okay, so I'm wanting to find that angle. Now I've got side AC, I've got the angle 32 degrees, and I've got the angle 48 degrees. Okay, now my 48 that I've got is across from 6.67. So they are going to be together. Okay, so we call that A, angle A, that will be side A. Okay, whatever we choose to do. So we've got 2 angles. We'll try to find an angle. Do I have enough information? What am I missing here? Angle ACD. Right, I don't know if I should see it, obviously, so E over 9A equals B over 7B. Can't be that because we're missing that. We're gonna need another side. Okay, or if we use cos A equals B squared plus C squared. Alright, we can't use that because we've not got these sides. So, we're gonna have to use the information. And, oh, in fact, what am I talking about? Angle ACD, my God. Right, what did I start this whole thing with? Triangles. All angles equal 180 degrees. Did someone put that in the chat? No, you could have told me. All right, all angles equal 180 degrees. Okay, I've got two of the angles, I'm missing x. So I can say 32 plus 48 plus my missing angle equals 180 degrees. Rearranging that. Absolute plum. All right, there you go. That's a case of overcomplicating it for you. All right, all angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. Missing angle ACD. We just need to take those two angles away from 180 to get.
I had done the exact same thing. I'd went for the sine rule, realised I couldn't do that, went for the cos, realised I couldn't do that, and then I was at a loss, so I was just kind of waiting for you to show me what to do.
The first rule I put in the board on Tuesday. Okay. Calculate the length AD. First thing we need to do, identify length AD. AD is start at point A, travel to point D. It's that side there that I've highlighted in green. Okay. So what have we got? Well, we're missing this side, we can call X. Okay. We've got the angle opposite it. Okay. And we've got another side and another angle. So we're going to use sine. I'm going to find an unknown side. So one of my small letters will be my unknown. In this case, we'll make it A. Then it'll be sine of the angle across from it, the sine 100 is equal to B, 6.67. The angle across from it, 48. Okay, we don't need the C over sine C part. We only need to use two parts to it. As long as the length is across from the angle. Rearrange that. And put that in your calculator. Yeah, the question is horrible. I'll give you that. Okay, so that's the lengths and angles. Okay, and it's as much as it looks horrible once you become familiar with it, just go back to when it's just one triangle and it's giving us the right information. Okay, just go back earlier in the booklet and just answer those questions. Okay, and then just slowly build back up to that and try and make sense of it. Okay, so when you've got a bit of time, okay, tomorrow, just go back a few steps, slowly go through the questions and build back up to that and try and figure it out. Okay, what I'm going to do is jump back a wee bit and just do the area one. Okay, so the area of the triangles is also a formula that we're given in the formula sheet. And we're using it in a similar sort of way. Okay, again, non-right angle. Now you can do it with right angle triangles, it doesn't matter, but you don't have to. Okay. Okay, given in your formula sheet will be the formula area is equal to half AB times C. Okay, so what's that saying? Well, we need two sides. Okay. We need one of the angles. Okay. These two sides are not either are not opposite the angle. Okay. They are the two sides adjacent to the angle. Okay, by adjacent, it just means touching. So the side A and B creates angle C, if you like. All right, so if we look back over to our triangle, that angle that we've identified there, that's 75 degrees. That's going to be linked to that side. Okay, now if we start lettering this, that's 75 degrees, we could call angle C. That means the opposite side would be side C, and that means the two sides adjacent to that angle, the two sides that create that angle in effect, is side A and side B. Okay. So again, don't link this back to any other triangle. What you have to realise is the side A and B cannot be the sides opposite the angle that we're using. Okay, so the area of half AB sine C, the half times 5 times A times sine 75 degrees. Putting that in your calculator. All right. 19.32. What's that in centimeters? Remember, area is squared. All right, so we've got centimeter would be the length. Area would be, sorry, the length would be centimeters. Area centimeters squared. So volume would be centimeters cubed. Okay, so centimeters squared for the area. Okay. So what have we got? Now we're finding the area. We only get this formula. Okay, so this is the only formula we get. So we don't get one with cosine where we can use other sides and angles, etc. Okay, we only get this formula to work out the area. So that sort of limits what we can do. All right, and hopefully makes life a lot bit easier. Okay, but we need to be very, very careful with the data that they give us. So in this case, we've got two sides. Now these two sides have to be A and B. Now, it doesn't matter which way around I have this. So A and B. It has to be. We can't find out that other side without jumping through more hoops. Okay. So angle B would be across from side B. So that's angle B. Angle A would be across from side A. So that's angle A there. So we don't have angle C. So we need to work that out. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. Be careful with the information they give you in the exam, because they might give you what looks to be enough information, but you have to be very careful when you're labeling it up. So we've got side A and B in the corresponding angles. We're missing angle C. Now that goes back to the three angles of a triangle make 180, and we can easily find that out. So angle C will be 180 minus what we have, so 80 and minus 30. So 60 degrees. Okay, so angle C in there is 60 degrees. So now we've got all the information we need. A half multiplied by A okay, so that's just throwing a wee bit of complication in there. But it's actually not that bad a question. My eyes. Right, there's loads of questions in the booklet, guys. All right, so I'd recommend just getting your head around them and going through as many as you can. What I'm going to end, or what I'm going to do in the last 20 minutes or so, is have a wee look at some past paper questions. Okay. Put the link to the paper in the chat. All right, so hopefully that takes you right to it. I'm going to use, okay, so the link is in the chat. Here on my screen for a second. Okay, so the link I've put in the chat, if you want to open it up, has a bunch of past paper questions. The first question, 2019 paper 2, so calculator paper, question 7, and it's just finding out an angle. Okay. Calculate the smallest angle, so x, z, y. X, y, z. Right. So you're using one of the rules there. So you'd have to use the rule. All these questions are cosine. Oh, no. All right, you'd have to use the rule cos A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared and get them in the right order. All right. That's too simple for me though. Let's have a look. Oh my God, 2019 had 2 of these.
So you want the ones, is that what the one should take it away from the 180 if it's 3 bits?
Yes.
No. So you'd take away the 180 plus 224, that would work out B first.
Do that. Might not need it.
Okay.
Let's not do that. All right, let's do 2019 paper 2, question 19. Question 19 means it's towards the end of the paper, which often means it's the bad ones. All right, these are the ones that if you get some marks in these, you're happy days. Okay.
Is everything probably worse?
Then it gets worse as you go on.
Oh. Yeah.
So question 19 is a lot of questions. Usually goes up to 15, but 19, so question 19.
That mean there wasn't as many questions in the first one?
No, it's the, you wouldn't base it on. You get an hour and a half anyway, so. Oh. Okay, have a wee look at that. Try and digest it, see what it's asking you. I'll draw it out. And then we'll go through it and then we'll end probably there, okay? I'll finish my polo, man. Okay, so 2019, paper 2, question 19. What we try to find, we're trying to find the height of the balloon. Okay, so B is the balloon. The ground is our horizontal down here. So we're trying to find that height with the information we've got. Where do we start? Even though I can't hear you, you can still put a new answer in if you want. All right, what we want to start with is you look at that, in the triangle you've got non-right angle. All right, it's non-right angle triangle. Okay, so you've got your sine rules and you've got your cos rules. All right, so think about what you're trying to figure out. So you can establish, we've spoke about it in the sort of classroom, you can establish what that missing angle is if you want. All right, might not be the worst thing to do, just to sort of start getting your head in it. All right, so the missing angle, one thing you do is this. Not the worst thing to do in an exam. The missing angle KBM, we find just by doing 180 minus 52 minus 34. All right, and that will give you 86, 94. So 94 degrees. Okay, so good place to start. Now you've got an angle across from the side. Okay, what else could we find out then? So let's A over sine A, B over sine B, C over sine C. We've got all the angles, so we don't need to find an angle. Okay, or we could use A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC plus A. Okay. Well, both of these, with the information we've got and stuff like that, we could find a missing side. So to do that, just work your way through it logically and then see where it takes you. So if we find a missing side, just pick a side, okay? So let's say find side KB. Okay. We find side KB. That side is opposite 34 degrees. Okay. And we've got an angle opposite a known side as well. So we can use the sine rule. Okay, we'll call that side x, and I'll say x over sine A, which will be sine 34, is equal to 350 sine of the angle across from that, which is 94. X would equal 350 sine 34. Get that answer. X is 192, I'm sorry, 196.2. Okay, so now we've got another bit to it. Now we could do the same and find out BM, but let's think about it for a second. What we try to find, we try to find the height. Okay, and it's B to the bottom, to the ground, sorry. Okay, B to the ground, the height of the balloon. Now, when I bring that height down, when I bring a straight line down from B to the ground, I'm actually creating a right angle triangle. Okay, I'm creating a new triangle by bringing that line down. So that is not in the question. That line B to the ground is not in the question. You have to put that in place, and then you have to be aware that that new triangle that I've highlighted in red there is right angled. Then you have to be aware that to find a missing side on a right angle triangle when you've got a side and an angle, you can use SOHCAHTOA. Only on right angle triangles. That SOHCAHTOA is not given to you in the exam. SOHCAHTOA breaks down side of the angle, okay, that wee circle with a line through it is just a Greek letter and it just means angle, okay? So it's a Greek letter theta and it just means angle. Okay, so sine O over H, opposite over hypotenuse. Cos of the angle, adjacent over hypotenuse. Tan of the angle, opposite over adjacent. Oops. That's why it's question 19.
Yeah, one thing now.
So what are you using? Well, you've got an angle. You've got the side opposite the 90 degrees. That is always going to be the longest side, and that is going to be your hypotenuse. The angle is across from your unknown. Okay, so that's going to be the opposite. So you're looking for the opposite. You've got the angle and you've got the hypotenuse. Okay, so you've got the angle, you've got the hypotenuse, and you're looking for the opposite. So you're going to use this first one, which is the SO. Sine 52 is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, which we've worked out to be 196.2. Sorting that out for the opposite. Okay, so the easiest thing to do would be spinning that round. The opposites on the left, and working that out. Okay, when I move that across, that 196 is a divide on the left-hand side, so it becomes a multiple on the right-hand side. So what I've written there is 196.2 times sine 52. So my opposite side, which is my height, is 196. 154.2 multiplied by sine 52. 154.6, hallelujah. 154.6 meters. Which is the right answer.